Look at all these owls. Hey, take it easy. Stop it, owl! Ow!
Hey.
Welcome back.
Good to hear your voice.
Are you all relaxed and refreshed? And
yeah, I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Good.
Good. I'm broke, but
are you tan?
Huh?
Are you tan? We took a summer break.
Yeah. 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 Yep, I'm good.
All right. You want to go first?
Yep. This one's from a book called The Humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a compilation of articles in the late 60s or early 70s, I think. And this was from the section by Coral Lorenzen,
Mm-hmm.
who was a really good investigator.
Yes.
And this is 1957.
Okay.
A strange story about stalled cars and little men was told to authorities in the press on the morning of the 6th when Richard Kehoe, not to be confused with Donald Kehoe of NICAP, an employee of General Telephone Company of Santa Monica, California, related his early morning experience. This is another tale which has fallen into ill repute because of the reluctance of researchers to accept human-like occupants as real and the lack of corroborating witnesses. Let me stop right there. It was really eye-opening reading this book, and I don't know if it was the first. I doubt it, but it seemed to be one of the first books to deal with occupants.
Mm-hmm.
And you really get from reading this, all these were like the head researchers at the time who put this book together, and you really get the feel for the time. Like this was when you were just starting to hear about all these things are landing and little people are coming out,
Right.
And I think a lot of people were kind of like with the Bigfoot thing, they were just ignoring it. They didn't want to hear it,
Right.
Just like some of the flesh and blood Bigfoot guys don't want to hear about balls of light and all that,
Exactly.
But anyway, Kehoe claimed that while driving along Vista Del Mar at Playa del Rey in California, beach area, at 5:40 a.m., his engine stopped, as did the engines of 3 other cars. When the drivers got out to see what was wrong, they saw an egg-shaped spaceship wrapped in a blue haze on the beach.
Nice.
Kehoe claimed 2 little men, about 5 feet 5 inches, which isn't really small, got out of the object and asked questions of him and the 2 other drivers, such as where we were going, who we were, what time was it, etc. Mm-hmm. He said their skin appeared to be yellowish green in the early morning light, but that otherwise they looked normal. He said they were wearing black leather pants, white belts, and light colored jerseys.
Right.
The two other drivers were identified as Ronald Burke of Redondo Beach and Joe Thomas of Torrance. And Kehoe claimed Thomas called the police. He said the little men sounded as though they were talking English, but he couldn't understand them, and said simply that he had to go to work. The men got back into their ship and it disappeared into the sky, whereupon his car started up immediately. The ship was egg-shaped, tan or cream in color, with two metal rings around it upon which the object apparently rested, according to Kehoe. Now, the last, besides that one, and well, one of the last books I read was Mysteries in the Mist by W.T. Watson, and it's a new book. And ever since it's a great book. I highly recommend it. And ever since that, I've been noticing how much the mysterious fog shows up in these accounts.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they said it in this one, there would seem to be a blue haze on the beach. Yeah. And yeah, so
spooky mist.
I like the stories with the green mist. I don't know why. But all right, that's it for that one.
All right. Do you want to take turns or?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. My accounts are from a book that you told me about or saw somewhere, Letters of Love and Light by Kate.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I got a hold of that. And it's the files of investigative R. Leo Sprinkle are contained in the book. Right. All right. So this one's for you. I grabbed this one for you.
Okay.
Box 25, folder number 4, date March 29th, 1977. USA, Matthews, North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
Right. My local investigations indicate that we live under a small window or observation point. We've had 10 known sightings and with about 30 people as witnesses in the past 3-year period. The UFOs seem to appear, vanish, or turn over in an area behind the housing development. The following is a summary of notes involving paranormal experiences that we experienced in the course of our UFO investigations in Gastonia, Charlotte, and Matthews, North Carolina, 1976, 1977. These experiences have continued since the UFO activity has died down. According to an aeromagnetic map, the Charlotte area has the highest magnetic concentration in North Carolina. There is an active quarry and an electrical booster station near where I live. Also, there is a line of magnetic intensity, 100 gamma contour line, that runs past my development. The UFOs seen traveling over our development have vanished on this line. I believe this high concentration of magnetic activity may have something to do with our continued paranormal experiences. These paranormal experiences also seem to be triggered by UFO events. The events seem to be negative to our investigations, disruptive, sometimes silly. Most of the activity has been electromagnetic in nature. We experienced several tape recording anomalies. Despite new batteries, voices were garbled with heavy static, or the recorder wouldn't work at all. Other times, the recorder would seem to work, but when we would play it back, the tape would be blank or filled with heavy static. We experienced psychokinetic activity where things would seem to move and later be found in unusual places. My wife and I experienced a glass tumbler that had just shattered right in front of us for no apparent reason. We also experienced, and this one for some reason is stuck in my head all week, this visual, like Matrix or like the weird floaty fight scenes. But we also experienced a pocket cone floating in midair that was slowly tumbling, moving laterally away from us. We could not find an explanation for this event. It was the strangest thing we've ever seen. While on an investigation, 3 out of our 6 flashlights went out, all within a minute of each other, though the batteries worked fine. We have also experienced numerous telephone anomalies. The static only seems to happen when UFOs are being discussed. I really feel the high concentration of electromagnetic energy played a role in both the UFO flap and the paranormal activity.
Wow.
Right around you, buddy.
I love that so much. I remember you sent that to me, and I think,
did, didn't I?
yeah, but I think I found who the investigator is. It's a guy named whose notes those were.
Okay.
I think it's P. Wayne Laporte.
Okay.
Is his name, and I found a little bit more about that guy. He seemed really interesting. Yeah, he's a North Carolina guy from the 70s, I think, was when most of his research was done. But yeah, we'll have to go deeper with that guy.
We will. I'm looking at him.
Love it. Okay, going back to the mermaid thing. This is 1988, several miles off Florida coast in the Atlantic Ocean. And and this is, of course, from Albert Rosellis Humanoid database, which I love so much. Professional scuba diver Robert Foster was diving along looking for mysterious undersea formations when he noticed a disturbance in the water. When he turned to look, he saw a vague, shadowy figure slashing toward him. All around him, the water had begun to churn wildly, and clouds of sediment were swirling. As the creature rushed toward him, it appeared to undulate rather than glide. When the fast-moving form got to within 20 yards of him, he noticed something odd about it. Appendages like arms seemed to be reaching out toward him, and the end of each arm appeared to be sharply taloned hands. He then saw the creature in full view. He saw an unmistakable pair of breasts, long flowing hair, smooth skin, and scaled tail from the waist down. It appeared to be half woman, half fish. Foster said, "I've never seen such evil hate in the eyes of any human or animal before." Before the creature could reach him, Foster shot up toward the surface and was able to scamper over the side of his craft to safety. He never saw the creature again. And the source of that was E. Randall Floyd's book, Great Southern Mysteries.
And look that up too. That's a good account.
Yeah. Yeah, I love finding more. And there's not a lot, but we've been finding them more and more.
And that's a diver.
Yeah,
right?
and it's modern, you know.
Right. Yay. Your mermaid love is growing.
Yep.
And they're scary.
Yeah.
Of course they're scary.
And
right?
they he said he felt the hate, so
Yep.
Wasn't that the thing with the like with the mythology of the sirens? They were always after men, weren't they?
Wrecking the boats and stuff, making boats.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was the fact that there were men or just that
man haters.
Mostly, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And we're recording, everyone who listened to the teaser of the short story. We will finish that at some point and put it out.
Yeah.
But that's,
Absolutely.
That's scary like that too. I'm going back to Love and Light.
Okay.
Box 23, South Africa, Kloof, folder number 31, October 5th, 1983. This occurred in 1969. At the time, I was living on my own in a small flat in central Durban. I have never forgotten what took place, although it was so many years ago. I have told very few people about it as it seemed pointless, and so many people laugh it off as a strange dream or that I am soft in the head. Soft in the head, I am not, and I wasn't dreaming. On this particular night, I had great difficulty in falling asleep. A useless sort of feeling, tossing and turning, waiting almost for something to happen, but not knowing what. I decided to make myself a cup of coffee and then sat up in bed drinking it. It was while I was sitting in bed, I noticed my wardrobe seemed to be fading into the wall. The street lights shone into the room, so it was not completely dark. Instead of a wardrobe being where it should be, there was now a long, dark tunnel shaped like an ice cream cone. At the end of the tunnel was a tiny light, which was getting larger by the minute. I sat with my chin resting on my knees, terribly afraid and not able to move. The light grew larger and larger, and I saw this man who seemed to step out of the tunnel. He was tall, wearing a greenish jacket and pants, black boots which came up to his knees, and he also wore a thick black belt. His eyes were huge. I got you another belt, see?
Yeah, I love it.
His eyes were huge, really huge. His hair brown and close cropped, as though someone put a bowl on his head, a bowl cut too for you. His ears were also large, lying close to his head and tipped at the ends. His
Wow.
skin, man, right? Green jacket, pointy ears. I don't know. His skin seemed to have a tan to it. His mouth was a straight line with no lips. He raised his right arm and beckoned to me to come to him. Although he never opened his mouth, I could hear the words, "Come, come." I remember answering back in my mind, "Bloody hell, I'm not going anywhere with you." At that moment, I felt I was being sucked down this tunnel, and I was being half dragged down a long, long passage, brightly lit up, although I didn't see any light fittings. The passage seemed to go on forever. Two people on either side of me gripped each arm as in a vice, and they were walking fast. As I could not keep up with them, they dragged my feet along with them. I was afraid to turn my head and see who they were, so I kept my eyes glued in front of me. I remember a room, also very bright, with a high, narrow table and white sheets. The room was cold, and it had a strange smell. After that, I remembered nothing. I woke in the morning with a strange feeling, which I find difficult to put into words. My arms were painful, and I felt as heavy as lead. I couldn't raise them to put on my makeup or comb my hair. After this experience, I feel now that I can read people's thoughts, and spiritual beings also appear to me. But that
Wow.
damn tunnel,
That's a good one.
this damn tunnel, sucked down the damn tunnel. But the ice cream shaped tunnel in your bedroom. So think about that.
What year was that?
1969. This occurred in 1969.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one. July 1978 in Germany, late afternoon. The witness reported that he was walking in a wooded area near an artificial lake when he suddenly heard pleasant music coming from some nearby trees. A very tall man then appeared near him. He wore a silvery white uniform and had beautiful, shiny white, shoulder-length hair, large, bright blue eyes, and a bronze complexion. The witness felt unimportant and insignificant in the man's presence, but felt love and compassion emanating from the being. After a brief telepathic communication with the witness, the being rose up into the air and vanished. No UFO was reported in connection with this event.
Tien. The Tien's sticking out to me for some reason. This the last one. The guy was Tien.
Yeah.
They're Tien.
Yeah, Kill talked about that a lot.
About the Tans?
Yeah. Yeah. So, especially around that time period.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to Love and Light. 1974 abduction at Medicine Bow National Forest, Wyoming. This interesting case took place in Medicine Bow National Forest, Wyoming, October 25th, 1974. A man was elk hunting in the northern section of the park. As he shot his rifle at an elk nearby, a most bizarre thing happened. The bullet traveled in slow motion as if he had entered another dimension. It fell some 50 feet away, dropping into the snow-covered landscape. He was able to recover the bullet. He felt a strange sensation over his body. To his utter shock and amazement, he saw a humanoid entity standing nearby. The humanoid was quite tall, at over 6 feet in height. He was clad in a black jumpsuit with a wide belt.
Yes.
The belt was decorated with a 6-pointed star and emblem of yellow. With straight hair standing out from his head, he had no eyebrows. He stood bow-legged with long arms ending with rod-like appendages instead of hands.
Oh.
That's crazy, right? Here we go. The humanoid spoke to him, asking him if he was hungry. The entity threw some pills to him, telling him if he took one, he would not have to eat for 4 days. Normally, he didn't take any type of pills, yet he swallowed one of the offerings immediately. It was surmised that the entity was smart enough to realize that he may have been hungry, or else he would not have been hunting elk. Soon the alien pointed toward the man, and the next thing he knew, he was enclosed within a transparent apparatus with the helmet on. Also present were 2 more humanoids and the 5 elk he was previously stalking. So they caught it quicker than him, right? The elk were in a frozen state. He was told that the aliens were traveling to their home planet located some 163,000 light years away. In a flash, they arrived at a distant location. He described the surrounding landscape as being occupied with buildings like the Seattle Space Needle, all lit up by a sun of intense power. The brightness of the atmosphere caused his eyes to water. The next thing he remembers was being back in Medicine Bow Park. He says that approximately 2.5 hours had elapsed since his encounter with the humanoid had begun. He was in a hysterical state, cold and disoriented. For a time, he could not locate his truck. Poor guy.
Wow.
Where the fuck did I park?
God.
Finally finding it some 3 miles from where he had left it. It had been stuck in a mud hole. He was unable to free it from the bog by himself. Using his CB radio, he summoned help from local sheriff, who arrived at midnight. Additional help arrived to free the stuck truck. He was found in a state of panic and nervous exhaustion. He was shouting, "They took my elk!" That was a fun night on patrol, wasn't it? He was taken for medical care to a local hospital. his blood work showed he had a highly elevated level of vitamins, probably from the pill he had taken. The most fascinating aspect of his test was that tuberculosis scars on his lungs were now gone. Further investigation into the details surrounding the bizarre encounter revealed that his wife, along with 2 other people, had seen a red, green, white flashing light moving in the area of the sighting.
Wow.
That
That's a
they're
good
they're
one.
passing out like really good vitamins.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those. Preston Dennett has compiled a lot of those
Yeah.
cases where people are cured of diseases and stuff, you know?
Yes.
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, we love Preston.
Yeah. All right. Oh, another this is perfect. Another elk hunter.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Rock Creek Canyon, Colorado, September 6, 1989, 10 a.m. Bow hunter Juan Mastez was quietly stalking a herd of young elk uphill in a wooded area when he heard a twig snapping to his left. He froze in his tracks. He turned his eyes to look at the source of the noise and was stunned to see a fat, ugly little guy about 3 feet tall, who turned at the same instant and stared at him. The little man was about 50 feet away next to a tall pine tree. As they locked eyes, Mastez was able to discern the little man's wrinkled forehead, clean-shaven face, and pink-hued skin. He was wearing what appeared to be green overalls with suspenders and a flat-topped floppy hat. His hair was reddish and was sticking out from underneath the cap. He had little eyes that seemed red and bloodshot. The little man sort of gave Mastez a smile and suddenly darted behind a tree. Mastez quickly ran to the spot, but the little man had disappeared. 2 weeks earlier, very close to the same location, a family of 5 on a picnic had witnessed the same or very similar entity that was also dressed in green overalls and hat. The source for this was Christopher O'Brien entered the valley, and his comments, Albert Rosella's comments right here, where you tell me, what is a leprechaun doing in Colorado in 1989?
Right? A lot of green clothing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
Oh, I got a killer soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it now. Killer Clowns.
Nice.
Oh God,
Yeah,
it's great.
a little bit.
Yeah. Waxwork Records.
Nice. Do you have more?
Do I have more?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm staying 1989. This is near Amsterdam, the Netherlands, September 4th, 1989, late night. The witness that owns several greenhouses in this rural area had returned home to his farm when he noticed that one of the greenhouses was glowing more brightly than usual, with a green tinge to it. He went to investigate. Oh shit, I lost my place.
I think you do what I do.
Let's see.
It's funny because before we recorded, I made sure, because I'm like,
I know, I
I'm
thought
going to
I
be
did
more professional this time. We're back, and I'm gonna.
Damn. Yeah, I lost it.
All right, let me grab something.
Sorry, folks.
Come on. They like it. They like it. We're searching, people. We're searching. Because I have, I have a whole bunch. I just pick some, put to the rest of the side. They're like, stop it. Here we go. Let's do this one. Of course, at this point, I don't know what book it came from, but it was October 15, 2016 in Orem, Utah. Around noon, a 10-year-old girl and her brother were playing in a field behind their house with 3 other children from the neighborhood. The field was about 2.5 acres with knee-high grass and full of old cherry trees from an old orchard. Their parents were in the kitchen when the children came running in, terrified, and saying they had seen a small red creature peeking out from behind the bush. They all had watched it for about 2 minutes, and it kept looking at them. The parents were concerned at how scared the children were. The father went outside, and based on their description, he estimated that the creature had been about 70 feet from them. He then began to question the children. Could it have been a fox or a dog? But the children insisted that it had been a creature on 2 legs with bright red, like fire engine red skin. The father was a bit skeptical and wrote it off as kids just seeing things. However, they refused to go back outside that day. Later that evening around 11, their 16-year-old son, who had no knowledge of what his siblings claimed they saw earlier, came into the house scared. He and 2 friends were walking just a few blocks from the house and saw a craft in the sky. He said initially his brain could not compute what it was. It was too low and not moving very fast. At first, he thought it was a plane or a helicopter crashing. However, he soon realized it was not when he saw it was triangular shaped with lights on the corners. There was a slight buzzing sound, and the surface was a dull, metallic texture. The craft eventually went behind some trees that were around the house. He and his friends ran to keep it in their line of sight, but once they got to where they should have seen it, it had already disappeared. He said, given the speed it was moving and the time it took to get them into a better position, it should have still been there. Little red guys for you. Fire engine red, not just red.
Fire.
Red.
Yeah. Red.
Very red, very red. There we go.
All right. I think I have one more good one. This is 1995.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost the location, but
somewhere in 1995.
I think it's the U.S. Daniel Klimsrud was walking with a girlfriend in a wooded area near town when they suddenly were turned around and lost. Although it had been a clear and sunny day, it now suddenly seemed as though the sky was dark and cloudy, and consequently the wooded area in which they were walking became shadowy, murky, as if night were about to fall. A heavy mist also appeared that made it extremely difficult to stay on the trail. Suddenly, from all around, they could hear the sounds of giggling, like small children laughing and playing. The laughter was almost musical. Klimsrud walked toward a clump of bushes that were shaking as if they were sheltering some little eavesdroppers. As he pulled back the branches, he caught a glimpse of 2 smallish yet perfectly proportioned men in greenish jumpsuits scurrying into a hole.
I'm sorry. We're on a green jumpsuit trend tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, and check this out. They were only about 3 feet in height, and he saw a shiny buckle on the boot
there you go.
as he dove into what appeared to be a tunnel. Another tunnel. That was when he noticed that they were standing at the base of a rather large mound of earth that was completely barren of vegetation, a fairy mound. Responding to an inner message, Daniel reached in his pocket and found some loose change. The moment he tossed the coins into the opening of the mound, the sky became clear, the dark mist lifted, and he could now easily see the path he had missed just minutes before.
They paid him?
Yeah,
all right.
He left offerings and he's good. And that was from a book I have by Brad Steiger called Out of the Dark.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Oh, it's good.
What's it called?
Out of the Dark.
Okay.
Yeah, it's and there's a whole chapter in this one about the Fae, which is some of the best stuff I've ever written. Ever read. Not written. Yeah. I loved him so much. He was such a good writer.
Yes. Collect him, love him.
Yeah.
Love him. Them. His wife wrote with him too. Sherry.
Yeah.
All right. I feel we're back in the swing. We're back in the swing.
Yeah. I'm good. I was nervous.
I know. It's so funny because like you get nervous and then you're like, nobody's looking at us. Imagine if we were doing the live, like YouTube or something. Then somebody's looking at us too.
I know. I know.
Nobody's looking at us.
I know. That's awesome. Oh yeah, and check out our friends UFOT.
Yes. Yes.
They have a YouTube and they're on Spotify too, and they're our friends and they're awesome.
Great accounts.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yep.
It's fun. It's
Same
fun.
as us, having fun.
Having fun. All right. Yes, definitely. I've been catching up.
Me too.
Because, we all check out stuff like, here, check this out or check this out. And sometimes it's like not your, you'll check it out and you'll be like, okay, that's good. I support you. But I actually liked it. I like it. It's funny.
That's how I feel. They're our
good.
friends and I actually love their show.
Their show. Yay, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better. All right. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're back. We will be back. Got it.
That's it.
Love us. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
One morning I woke up and I'm just lying in a bed. I couldn't come back into life 'cause I'm dreaming about him sad. So I told my mother, it's a dream in the morning, dream at night. So I'm always dreaming, 'cause dreaming is my life. In the morning, the dream at night. So I'm always dreaming, 'cause dreaming is my life. Old man, he's dreaming and shouting at these worlds, remembering his good times and feeling that they are gone. And so he's always thinking about sleeping out of the doors, and women who were so pretty, but life was going on. remembers the times he spent down in Greece, an island like such a magic, and sounds from winds and from wheels. And so he's always thinking about the nights with the clearing sky, and stars to shine them on him and showed him his scarlet life. Shouting at these worlds, remembering his good times and feeling that they are gone. And so he's always thinking about sleeping out of the door, and women who were so pretty, but life was going on. I woke up and I'm just lying at the beach, and someone beside me is telling me stories about the seas. So I told this brother, it's a dream.